Bashibi joined by Zambian, former Zambian international Chris Katongo as well Tinashe Nengomasha, strong man at Samakosi Kaizer Chiefs Zimbabwe international self. Gentlemen, thanks for coming through. Thanks for joining us. Let's start with that piece from Bashibi there. A bit more on this five-a-side tournament. What is it? What is it about, Tinashe?
You know, Kaso has come up with this initiative whereby, you know, they're trying to make everybody enjoy the game of football. Because if you look at Kaso, mostly they're basically sponsoring pro sports like your cricket, your football, and so on. So now, basically, what they've done is they are promoting this five-a-side Africa, whereby anybody, you know, can buy a castle and then pick 6 friends, you understand, and then he goes on to enter his name and details, and then they play a regional tournament. So it's being done on the SADC countries, Zimbabwe and all of that. After that, the five-a-side team which is going to win in the prospective country, it's going to go to Zambia for the continental finals. And then if you win there, you make your way to Russia. So basically it's for anybody. It might be a woman, it might be a 70-year-old who dreams of making it to the World Cup.
Five-a-side is not easy, Tinashe. Me, I know, I've tried it.
Yeah, so
you need to be, hey, gearbox must still be working. Our gearbox is long dead. Let me bring you in there. When and how, I mean, Tinashe just told us the breakdown of it, but obviously the turnaround for 2018 is just around the corner. How are we expected to get through all these finals competitions as soon as possible to make it to Russia? What is the breakdown of it?
I think Tinashe has explaining already. I think when we meet in Zambia, that's when they're going to choose who's going to go to represent Africa.
Yeah. So in total, the winner of the various, I mean, I see there's a lot of countries that will be taking part. Lesotho, that's the SADC region.
Yes.
Overall, you're looking for a SADC champion?
Yes, who's going to represent the SADC, which is the southern part of Africa, to go and represent us into the world.
So the whole continent basically will be holding their own competitions such as these?
Yes.
Okay. The likelihood of a SADC team winning it is tough. What do you think?
Yeah, we've been quarreled with my colleague Tinashe. He said, Zimbabwe is going to go. I said, no, Zambia is going to go. He said, it's going to go. Yeah, that it's good to have a passion about your country, and that's when we're going to come up maybe with a good side which is going to represent the southern part of Africa.
Let's speak about that. Football in Africa and the continent is large. You guys are not only ambassadors of Africa Fives as the reason why you're here today, but throughout your careers, football has run through your veins. You've played in the top leagues on the continent. You've made your mark. You're thinking now of what this means for football, this five-a-sides. Your take, Chris, where are you now with football? What is your take on local football?
I think it means a lot, the five-a-side, because also basically the sponsors, they are looking at the grassroots also. And also they are tackling on the level of those who are amateur, just to have a feeling of football, also just to come together. Castle, when it comes to Castle, always it brings people together, and that's the essence, or even in the regions. I think we have come together. We played each other when I was at Cosmos, was at Chiefs, but this initiative, it's bringing people together, and I think it's a good initiative whereby they're recognizing the region. Sometimes they don't respect the region, but on this project, I think they are recognizing the region from our region, southern part of Africa, to be considered that we have done our part, and we need to be appreciated in one way or another.
The region, I mean, you mentioned, Chris, the region. Hey, SADC football. I think, I sit back and you look at, we spoke now with Samuel Eto'o and that package with Bashibi that South Africa, for example, haven't qualified for Russia. I don't think Zimbabwe has qualified for Russia either.
From the southern part of Africa, no one has qualified.
Nobody's qualified. It's what do you think? What's your take, Tinashe?
Honestly, it's a growing concern, especially, since we know that, time and again, we have been also having, like, South Africa is the main, qualifiers on our region for the World Cup, and it's a main concern. But since also us, we have got football veins, like you rightly say, what are we going to do about it? You understand? Are we going to invest much of our time into bringing the right players for our respective countries? Are we going to play an important role in this? kids, you understand, to make them realize, like, look, for you to be recognized as a top player, you need to be at the World Cup. I've got a friend of mine, Cyril, he always breaks about being at the World Cup, you understand, and he's retired. And then you look at Ryan Giggs, won everything, but he's never been at the World Cup. So I think it's important for all of us, you understand, you know, to leave our mark in our countries. Zimbabwe is from Zambia, and also Samuel, obviously Cameroon. You understand, to have the right structures, you understand, we have the right knowledge to say, okay, what should we do when we play a country like Nigeria? You understand, are we gonna go out there and go toe-to-toe with them, or are we going to put, you know, the right bodies behind the ball to win the game?
Because over the years, I mean, Chris, and now Tinashe, both Zimbabwe and Zambia, their football has come up. I mean, we've seen Zambia the past 2 years in AFCON. They've totally shown that they've become a team to be reckoned with. As Zimbabwe as well, they're playing good football. In fact, I would go as far as saying currently they're probably playing better football than South Africa. So there's no excuse why we should not have representation at a World Cup, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. It comes. The problem is together of the southern part of Africa. We need to start asking questions about ourselves to the southern part of Africa. Why the western part of Africa, they are always dominating? You know, if you look at how many football of the year, African football of the year we have in the southern part of Africa, how many? You can just start counting yourself. How many BBC African football of the year we have in the southern part of Africa? How many trophies that southern part of Africa has dominated, you know, to the continent? How many of Africa Cup of Nations, western part of Africa? So these are the questions that we need to start asking ourselves, that we are still really far to go to the World Cup until we start finding the solution. What is the problem? What is the decline in terms of our football in our southern part of Africa? Because one has to represent us. Not everybody, none of them, no one is...
it's a crying shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it begins with the Africa Fives. Let's quickly, I've been told we've got a minute. Let's speak about it. What's the breakdown? When do the qualifiers start, as it were? You said anyone is available to pop in. Tabiso and his buddies. In fact, I can take all the studio guys and go to the championships, yes?
Yeah, next month we're popping in for another activation. And then June, the teams are traveling to Zambia for the major qualifiers. Continental qualifiers.
Yeah, and the outright winner will be announced in Zambia.
In Zambia, yes.
And you're not going to tell me who it is, because
obviously
we can't.
Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
He's got a minute.
But you say Tinashe Nengomasha, former Kaizer Chiefs player, as well as Zimbabwean, ambassador to the Africa's Fives, but in Zimbabwe International, Chris Katongo, Zambia International. Gentlemen, thank you indeed for joining us right here in Sports and Prime. Africa Fives, that's what it's about. Casalaga five-a-side tournament was launched earlier today, as you heard the gentleman say. It's still, we're going to give a breakdown a bit later on as well. There will be more activations into how you can join in and have the fun. Choose your top 5 and top 6 and go and play for a chance to go to Russia 2018. Stay with us.